Sometimes I just want to pound the pavement. Like I just want to like go around the neighborhood and pass out flyers. It's just satisfying. I have a vegetable farm in North Carolina. And like sometimes I just want to take baskets of produce and go to the restaurants in Asheville and just hand out produce, like, because it's just like a some interaction, some human connection that's not me like sitting around with Excel spreadsheets and talking about capital, you know?
Welcome to Not Quite a Podcast, where we talk with founders, marketers, writers, builders, and designers about life, business, marketing, and more. And sometimes we even say something smart. When that happens, we take the best of our talks, tidbits, and wisdom and post it here for our listeners.
Let's go back to, we met in Asheville and I just saw you in Miami. We
Yes.
met at ILC. And I mean, after I met you, I remember listening to another podcast that you were on where it was like an interview. And now you're, what are you, a developer, hotelier? What's your title? Now.
Yeah, I'm a developer, but I'm actually still a lawyer. I still have to every year do my continuing legal education to keep my law degree. And I think for better or worse, like once you actually become a lawyer, you're always a lawyer. It means like I won't ride roller coasters or, I'm always paying attention to ice on the ground, things like that. So I'll never not be a lawyer. But yeah, I'm a commercial real estate developer. We have 3 hotels and we build high-rise apartments. We're based in Atlanta, technically. I tell people I live in my car, which is, it looks like it. If you're in my car, you could tell I live in there. A lot of us are nomadic, and I am one of those peoples. I really live between Atlanta and Asheville, but we develop in Seattle, Phoenix, Asheville, Salt Lake City. So we're kind of all over the place. But yeah, we build apartments and hotels. When you control real estate or space and then businesses, you are, a designer, you're a brander, you are an employer, you are also a politician, you're a community builder. There are a lot of kind of responsibilities of a developer,
So you started by building a career and then exiting, and now you're an entrepreneur. So now you're a founder.
Yeah, which I highly recommend. I talk to students all the time at my alma mater, which is the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. And I always tell them, I'm like, learn on other people's dimes. Like, go in, like, grind it out, like, do what you're told. You learn a lot doing that. And there's something to be said for just hard work. So, I mean, how did you become a developer, property owner?
Yeah, I didn't do that.
Oh, yeah.
That would have been nice. I did the opposite. I was a stubborn, typical millennial and graduated high school, went to art school for a day and was like, I'm going to start my agency, and have been doing that ever since. So
There's an intelligence in that, by the way. Like, you kind of talk about it like apologetically. I'm like, no, you just did that a lot smarter than everyone else who spent $100,000 on something. But learning on other people's dime, I think can be helpful.
I was young. I was starting the agency in the basement of my parents' house, right? So there was this sense of really having that like imposter syndrome and really trying to come over that. But then years into it, it probably took, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10 years into it till we got some real brands behind us. And the peak is Ferrari. I mean, like, it doesn't really get any bigger. I mean, it does. There's other brands, but everyone knows who Ferrari is. And when we got to that point and kind of reached that mountain, realized that like it was great to work with a brand like Ferrari, but the work wasn't meaningful and we didn't love the work. Well, I think what it really came down to for us was that the work didn't really matter. Like, they were Ferrari before us and they were Ferrari after us. And like, yes, we helped them uncover some things in digital. We really helped them launch into digital in the first place. And we helped them measure some things, and we helped them add a couple names to the wait list, but the wait list was already 2 years long. So what do? We just added, we made the wait list a little bit longer, and and
That's
that was
funny.
it, right? Like, it wasn't like, where we're at now, which is working with other founders and helping them actually grow their business. That to me is rewarding, because there's a direct relation to like the goals and what they're trying to accomplish and their livelihood and their family and their employees. You know what I mean? It's that
Oh,
it's that
100%.
it's that balance of people and profit, and not just
Mm-hmm.
profit.
Totally. Yeah. So like for our company, like I said, we develop hotels and apartments. Our 80% of our portfolio easily are these big projects. They're high rises with hundreds of apartment units. And like we have a 225 room hotel in Salt Lake City. They're awesome. The other part of our business is a 70 key, just like off the wall hotel in Asheville, a 20 key off the wall hotel in Asheville. We own two artist studio businesses, and then we have a restaurant downtown in Asheville. So, those are very different animals. So like the big multifamily projects, there's like a formula for it. It will do well because they're located in markets like Seattle, where there's just jobs everywhere. They're going to do well, and they have their own characteristics, but they're going to be fine. At the Radical, our hotel in Asheville, at 70 rooms, there's many, many, many employees. They all have gifts and talents, and if someone told me tomorrow that all I had to do was like foster that in Asheville, I would find that rewarding every day of my life for the rest of my life. Like, so I totally hear what you're saying. It's like, it may not make me that much money, but that's like a good day. And truly, the reason I left the practice of law was because I wanted to have a good day. But you know what I'm saying? Like, to having like a safe client, like you're saying, that's a great thing to have. It pays the bills and all that kind of stuff. But it's like teeing you up for the next thing. When you get to do the thing you're really passionate about, it's like, well, I just want to be passionate today. I feel lucky that I get to do both. But if you told me tomorrow all I could do was like what I consider to be kind of the hard stuff, I mean, I would be fine to do that. It's very rewarding.
So what are you working on right now that's exciting you?
So in terms of being in what we call pre-development on a project, we are working on a project called Zelda Salon. It's a 35-room hotel in downtown Asheville, and it's under our license with the estate of F. Scott and Zelda Fitzgerald. And so it's another hotel honoring them, like our other project, Zelda Dearest. It's more Art Deco, more French. So each of our hotels take kind of a piece of their life and explore that piece. This one is more on their time in France. Beyond that, I just kind of run all these operating assets, right?
The next time I'm in Asheville, I'm going to stay at Zelda Dearest. I'll have been at both of your hotels then.
Awesome.
You phrased it that, being a developer, you do a lot of things. I like to call it a lot of hats. I've had this, I say this a lot, and I, having founded my agency and starting off wearing a lot of different hats, my new goal in life is to try to give away a hat a year, right?
That's cool. That's
And just eventually not have any hats left. I mean, it sounds weird, but like that's sort of the idea, is as an entrepreneur, get to that point where, really you give all the hats away and you're still going to have a hat to wear. You just get to pick which one, on that given day that you want to wear. And sometimes the hat's just thrown at you. Like in your case, when there's a hurricane, that's not a hat you want to wear.
A hurricane hat. Yeah.
But sometimes you have to wear that hat. And so I'm just curious, and you don't have to use the hat metaphor, but like with all the different things that you're doing, what's your approach to that? And is there one or two of those things that you really love doing? And are you working towards getting to that place where, I mean, maybe you just want to be the bartender at one of your properties? I don't know. Like what's the goal that makes you
I've said
really,
that before. I just want to work in the lobby at the Radical and talk to people and help them find things, because I get a lot of enjoyment out of creating art sales in the Rad. So when people are like, where should I go? Like, what artist should I meet? I love to do that. So that's that. I'm like the greeter at Walmart, but the greeter at the Radical, that's my dream job. But no, I think Elon Musk, before he was so controversial, had quote that he said something like, as the owner of a business, you're always just solving problems. Like once something hums, you don't touch it anymore. Like once it's working, you don't really look at it anymore. So all you do is put fires out. And I think I'll always be doing that. That's just, we're an 8-person development firm that delivered 8 projects in 6 years. And so we don't have like the strictest structure. So a lot of times I'm just pitching in like where it makes the most sense. In addition, I think just my personal preference is to sometimes pound the pavement, because what we do a lot of times, I joke that I'm a finance bro, because in reality, that's like kind of the hardest part of what I do. Like it's the part that not everyone can do. I just put all the financial pieces together, and it's kind of creative how you structure things. But that stuff takes forever. I think we started working on the Radical in 2019. It delivered in 2023, and it's like hit a hurricane. Now it's stable. And so sometimes I just want to pound the pavement. Like I just want to like go around the neighborhood and pass out flyers. That's not my highest and best use, but it's just satisfying, because doing these things with these huge arcs like of time, it just takes a long time to be really sad. Like when you're done with something like that, it's very satisfying. It's like, holy cow, how do we do that? But but in the meantime, like that's a long time to wait for any satisfaction, So having those times where you pound the pavement, like I have a farm, I don't know if you knew that, but I have a vegetable farm in North Carolina that actually is not producing anything right now, but it was. And like sometimes I just want to take baskets of produce and go to the restaurants in Asheville and just hand out produce, like, hey, give us a call if you need these amazing organic vegetables, just pass them out, because it's just like some interaction, some human connection that's not me like sitting around with Excel spreadsheets and talking about capital,
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I've been really focused on lately is this idea of scaling yourself and what that looks like. We don't rise to our goals, we fall to our processes. And so trying to just build more consistency into the things that really matter is really important. I mean, you and I talking like this is part of that process, like just getting this coordinated so it works for your schedule, my schedule, and we get on here and talk. And that takes a process. That takes an army of people, a small army of people, to get that done. It's rewarding. Never eat lunch alone, I think, is another concept that's really great. Just, you never know where a conversation is going to lead. And it's just important to be out there. I mean, if you're not out there, you're never going to meet anybody.
Yeah,
so you don't know where that's going to
100%.
go.
Yeah, absolutely. As a lawyer, you track your time in billable hours, point 1, point 2, like that's how you track your time. And so there could be wasted time. Like you'd be like, oh gosh, I lost that time. I couldn't bill it. Now I have to go make it up. That's like a weird paradigm to have. It took me like a mental shift to be like, none of this is wasted time. Everything I do is valuable.
We're junkies. We're problem junkies, I guess, is like, we're just, that's our heroin, I guess, to use a terrible metaphor.
Well, I always say it's like Shark Tank, even like, just in the seat that I sit in, sometimes people will ask me for a meeting at the Radical lobby. They make perfume or something. And I'm like, okay. So I'll meet with them and they're like, what do you think of our packaging? What do you think of, all this stuff? And I'm Shark Tanking. It's really rewarding for me to do that, actually. So again, I learned something about branding or a thought process or something. And then of course their beautiful product, which I would be happy to have in our merch area at the hotel or whatever. So yes, I am the same way. I don't have a lot of conversations where we're just chit-chatting. It's usually like, what problem are we solving? Whether it's a personal thing or, a business thing, whatever. But yeah, you're probably right. It's probably, I'm the problem. It's me. I'm a junkie for problem solving.
Thanks for listening to Not Quite a Podcast. To hear new episodes, view the archive, or find out more about being a guest on the show, visit notquiteapodcast.com.